This is why, Diane, you're gonna have to come on. After 5 minutes before we take off, you have to come up again.
I'm here for you, George. I'm here all day.
Thank you. So no, thank you guys for coming. Oh, sorry. Yeah. We have people on Zoom, so we'll wait for them. It's not on anymore, is it? It is on. Okay. So just a couple things. Please, this is supposed to be very conversational. I'm going to have a conversation with them. We're going to talk about their business, figure out what happened, what's happening, and what's going to happen in their business, how they got there, and the mechanics behind it. Nothing too granular or small, but hopefully you guys get to learn a lot. At the end of the presentation or at the end of our conversation with them, please feel free to ask them questions because hopefully you have a lot and you've learned a lot. And if you haven't, then I'll just keep on talking and talking and turn out the fan and talk and talk and talk, right? Until you guys ask a question to get me off the stage. Just other little things we couldn't figure out how, obviously not technological savvy. So we have a mic and we'll be passing this around. A little weird, but just so you know, and I also keep pretty good notes. So you'll see me refer back to my notes. Again, that's just for me, for you guys to make sure that I don't miss anything. With that, I'd like to call our panelists up. Please come on up. Yeah, right here. Yeah, exactly. So I'll sit down with them. I wonder if I should drink this. It's halfway. It's a mango seltzer. I've never had one. It isn't? No, this is for the Zoom. This is for the Zoom because it's far away and it's just for presentation. Yeah. And we're good over there. So also if you see me looking that way, I'm looking at that. But you guys could hear me. No, I'm projecting. Yeah. Okay, good. So as we move forward, let me pull this out. So we wanted to put together because when we get about mid-year, organically, what happens in real estate, for those of you guys that are new, will realize this is people or units drop in sales, right? I mean, I don't know if you confirmed that, Jason, but we have kind of an organic slowdown. I have a theory that it's less about the summer or the heat here in the valley, because here in the valley, that's what happens. You know, July tends to be my local office, Los Banos, slowest month. But I really think it's because what most of us are mothers or fathers and our kids are off, right? So we start pulling back. We hit it really, really, really hard, kind of after winter, which is also another slowdown, right? And then there's a 90-day cycle. So we start pushing hard probably about January 15th. And then we start seeing the activity actually come through 3 months later. So then that leads into June, and all of a sudden there's complacency sets in. You know, we have 1, 2, 3 closings, 4 closings, whatever that might be. And then, hey, we're good at this point. And then there's a slowdown, right? But that's
you panic in August and September.
Yeah, and then we got to come back, and then Christmas is coming, right? It's like Christmas is coming, so we got to go and we got to rush and we got to earn some money to be able to give some gifts. But the reality is that although that's kind of the way our industry works, that's not the way these ladies do business. That is exactly what it is. So what we're here to do is pull that back. It's like, hey, let's pull back the curtain to them and to see there is a blueprint, right? What I'm hoping is that you find a common thread, even though they all do individually different things and are at different stages in the business, on how they did it and how they got there, because there is. And if not, I'll point it out at the end, but look out for that. So then just real quick, I'm going to actually have them introduce themselves. All I really want is name, office, years in the business. Okay. And then we'll get into kind of breaking everything else out.
Is this for Zoom?
It's for Zoom.
Okay, yeah. Cindy Fraze. My primary office is Modesto, and I have been in the real estate industry for 30 years, but only selling for 25.
Suzanne Cole, the office I work out of is Los Banos, but as I stated earlier, I am a relocation and a Central Valley agent. So I cover within an hour and a half radius. Oh, and I've been in the industry 12 years.
My name is Christine Kinsley. I'm from the Los Banos office, and I've actually been 25 years selling real estate.
My name is Lydia Linares, and I'm with the Modesto office, and I have been selling real estate for 35 years.
It's gonna, but this does this gives me time. It gives me time so I could fill a whole hour. No, so I'm gonna turn this way now because, like I said, I'm gonna have a conversation with them, and then they can answer to you guys. So I'm not ignoring you guys. It's just kind of what it is. So just so you guys can know, super proud of you guys. Super proud of what you've done and what you're doing. There were some qualifiers, right, for me to figure out who's gonna come on. While I was looking through everybody's numbers, I was like, okay, well, what makes sense in the life cycle of not only you guys, but just as a real estate agent as a whole. Okay. So the reason I reached out to you, Cindy, is because Cindy, in 2024, I think you closed 18 units, and that's kind of the way you were fluctuating between 16 and 18 for a long time, right? But last year,
2017 and 2018.
yeah, okay. And then what happened then?
I did 78 and 84
Yeah.
units.
So that
year, because I had an investor that
flipping. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
he sold 104 units.
That's fantastic.
But I
Yeah.
loved my 20 units.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah. So right around there, right? And but you went from 2024 and now in 2025, you close, I believe it was almost 37, which is double in 1 year. So then that was your qualifier, or some congratulations, right? Suzanne Cole here, she not only in our region, but you've been number 2, I mean, 6 years or something like that in a row. Last year, for whatever reason, you got number 3, but probably not by much based on numbers I saw. So congratulations on that. That was a qualifier, right? And then I was corrected on this by Christine. Christine has been number 1 in our whole company, even when we were over 2,000 agents. That's a lot of people. Number 1 in units sold for 11 years, correct? 12 years. 12 years going and still going, right? And we'll talk about what she's on track this year as well. And then Lydia represents, and I've interacted with Lydia for the last 6 months quite a bit, right? Being in Modesto and doing that. What I appreciated about her is saying, hey, if you guys notice the kind of the path we're going on, is that you guys represent, like I said, the life cycle, what an agent should look like as a whole. And you guys are all going to get there because Lydia is the epitome. This is where we all want to get to. At one point, she closed over 300 transactions. You look at over 3,400 units closed with 34 years in the business. So averaging 90 units a year. I mean, incredible, right? And then we'll get into her story and how she got there and where she's at now, which, like I said, that's exactly where I want to be. So that's my intro to you. That's my intro for you guys and for those on Zoom, so they know, hey, it wasn't just a randomly selected, like, hey, let's just get a bunch of people that do 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 units. No, it's like these are people who are doing not just what do you call it, sparks in the pan, but just the consistency and almost how effortlessly you make. Because people look at you guys and well, they're doing it. Why can't I do it? Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can do it, but the how to get there is where we're going to get at now. So I sent you guys a few different questions, right? And I think that's where I'd like to start with. And I'll start with Cindy. Okay. If I can, from you, Cindy. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. So then, you know, when you guys are interacting with people, you guys always find a way to bring business in the conversation. That's one thing that after talking to you guys, for you guys, common thread. That's a common thread. Okay. Write that down. Always brings it into the conversation. There's always a way into bringing the conversation. So to kind of give the people that are here watching and online, what I'd like from you guys individually is an elevator pitch and or let's start with a short bio and then how you would pitch that as an elevator pitch. And for those of you guys who don't know how elevator pitch is, just a quick, 2-3 sentence introduction of what you do for a living and why we should use it. What's your value prop?
So this is the hardest question he asked out of all of them. Should I put it right in my mouth? Oh, you can't hear. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm not a yeller.
Yeah.
So probably the hardest question, because talking about myself I hate it. So I think that a quick bio is the reason that I've been in it for so long is I was on the other side of the desk for many, many years as a manager and helping grow brokerages and such like that. And then I was able to join Gretchen in 2016. But when I'm out with socially or in a group and you are just listening to people, everybody has lifestyle. Everybody has something. And so I just listen for the lifestyle that will associate with real estate. And so when I'll ask them what they do, right? It's really Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. You've heard that before. And so a lot of times once somebody asks me, I ask them, what do you do? Or what is your occupation? Or what keeps you busy? They will usually reciprocate the question back. It's almost like I'm setting them up because I know what I'm going to say, you know, well, I'm in real estate and I've been in real estate for about 30 years and I love what I do. I love helping buyers and sellers take a complex problem or a complex situation and really make it a smooth and stress-free experience. That's it. That's kind of all in one. So, on to you.
Okay. You want to like a background of
Yeah,
What
yeah, exactly. I just real quick, like I said, we already said years in the business.
Okay.
But more of like she said, you know, when you're in conversation with someone and they ask you, what do you do for a living?
What do you do?
How are you
Dan?
telling? How are you
Dan,
telling?
what do you do?
Well, I wear many hats and I can't even explain to people what I do because you guys would think I'm all crazy. But I tell people you have to follow what your schedule and your family, where you fit in and what works best for you. But I've had dress shop. I did interior design, staging for years, and event planning, and that's kind of how I got into real estate. But it's kind of like Cindy. I tell people everybody that you get in front of, or I don't care. I'm at Home Depot and I'm a real estate agent. I'm checking out food and I bring the conversation in, or I'm, just easing it into the conversation. So everybody that comes in front of you, that's a potential client. And you have to remember that, but you don't want to come off strong. You just kind of ease it into the conversation. You don't want to come up and say, hi, I'm a real estate, but that's how you kind of ease it in. But like I say, we have a ranch. I get up at 4. But like I tell people if my kids were home, I'd be on a different schedule. But I tell people you have to work and see what fits into your schedule. But on the art, like Cindy had conveyed, everyone you get in front of, that's a potential client.
So mine, like I said, I would do it for 25 years. And so a lot of this is really from the kids at schools. I've been in Los Banos since 1992. So my youngest was kindergarten, second grade and fifth grade. So I actually met a lot of people through the Catholic school in Los Banos, plus we were in play days. So I always kind of, whenever I went to an event, and this is when you have smaller kids, obviously it's a lot long time ago now, they're in their 30s, but I would actually kind of know who's in the classroom and where they lived. And so if I saw them and I'd say, hey, did you see that house? It closed, for, blah, 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 or, is that right? So I tried to actually try to figure out where they lived, especially kids at school. You always talk to people, people. I helped a lot in all the classes. That's really how I got to know a lot of people in town, because I'm not from Los Banos at all. But that was an easy way for me to do it, was to get in front of people that way. And so I go to so many events, community events everywhere. Tonight's the How dinner, tomorrow night's the Elks Lodge luncheon. I do a lot of community service. I help at the fair. So people know me that way. And so that's how actually they kind of know. I give out pins at the fair too. And so people know me that way just because I do help a lot. And then, I always say, by the way, do you know I'm a real estate agent? They kind of laugh and say, yeah, we know. But I always bring it up that way. I always like, do you know? And they're like, oh yeah, of course, but that's the way I kind of got clients at first. I mean, like I said, 25 years, I didn't know anybody in town. We didn't really know anybody. I'm not from here at all. But that was a good way to kind of get people, to know you, is through community service,
Well, I was fresh out of Stan State. I had just graduated with a degree in organizational communication and marketing. And my sister had just started real estate, and she had a vision that I definitely did not see. She asked me if I could help her get her systems in place while I found my real job, because I thought, I'm not going to be a realtor. I went to college. I've got aspirations that are, far from Stanislaus County. And I agreed to help her out with some systems while I was looking for my career job. But it didn't take very long to figure out that I could do what I liked most in this business for ourselves, my sister and I. She was a very she's a numbers gal. She knew the market like the back of her hand. She could tell you about every listing that was on the market, and that's what she enjoyed doing. And I enjoyed the public relations, public speaking, working with buyers, doing marketing. So we figured it out that we made a good team and that we could each focus on what we enjoyed the most. And clients loved the fact that we were sisters, and it really drew us into the people's kitchens because we were sisters. We could look at each other and literally finish each other's sentences. And so that was something I never thought I would be here 35 years later. It wasn't a long-term goal, but through the years and after being able to define our roles and just get to love what we were doing, it's been 35 years in a flash. So when people ask me, well, what do you do? My elevator speech is pretty short and sweet. I say, I've been a realtor for 35 years and I've helped nearly 3,400 clients buy, sell, invest, and create generational wealth. I build my reputation and my business on trust and respect. And my goal is to always build long-lasting relationships with those that I work with.
Both of you thought through that, huh? That's good elevator spin.
Yeah. Can we get that?
Yeah. So, and they can still hear me on this, right? And then let me know if you guys can't hear me because I know I'm talking this way now, so it could be a little bit lower. Okay. So what I found, and hopefully you guys did as well, is the first thing, like I said, is they what do they all have in common? When I meet somebody, I'm going to look for the opportunity basically to bring business into the conversation, right? So how many of us are in crowds? How many of us are at events? How many of us are at Home Depot, like Suzanne said, and forget that we're in real estate, or are trying to hide it, or are trying to be embarrassed about it, right? I remember when I first came into the business, there was a term called a secret agent, and that was 95% of us. 95% of us were known as a secret agent. They all have a different elevator speech, right? In a sense where I love Christine's when she's like, she doesn't even have to give it anymore. It's kind of like, her elevator speech, do you know I'm in real estate? Well, yeah, right. But that takes 25 years of work. So thank you for that. Sorry. Thank you for that. With that being said, right, I'd like to kind of get into your guys' daily schedule. And I've spoken to at least the majority of you guys, right, in and out of how that looks. But if I could get just a quick rundown of what your Monday through Sunday looks like. And do you have, what I'm looking for is like, do you get into the office? What time do you get into an office, right? If it's not like a local Berkshire Hathaway, do you have an office at home? Are you treating this business as a business, not just a side hustle, right? Okay.
All right. So life changed for me about 3 years ago. So I've had to adjust my schedule. I'm just going to say that initially because I'm still struggling through a little bit of it. My grandchildren and my daughter came to live with us. So our little 1,600 square foot house now has 6 people in it rather than just 2, my husband and I. So my schedule, though, is very similar. I wake up early. I say early, 5 o'clock. First thing I do is I get up, go to the garage, which is where we have our gym. My husband's a strength coach, so that's something I like to get my workout done first. And then I will shower, get ready, do the laundry, do all those couple of things like that. Then I help get the grandkids up, but they leave for school about 8:30. I am typically in the car right after I've buckled them in, driving to the office around 8:30. I get there early because it's quiet and there's nobody there. And because Ainsley doesn't come in till 9, so that's nice that I have the quiet little time there. And I get all set up and I'm ready to start my day at 8:30. It doesn't mean I make phone calls at 8:30, but everything on my schedule, my Monday through Friday, is on a calendar. And I can tell you what I'm going to do 3 years from now on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock. I'm going to do birthday cards, birthday messages, and real estate reviews for the week. I know on Friday at 3 every week, I do what I call my CRM tracker update. And I update, like, what am I going to do? I call it my Monday morning agenda. If you're a ninja, you'll know some of those terms. But Monday morning agenda, who am I going to call next week? So I set myself up at the beginning and at the end of the week to, this is what I'm planning on doing. And I usually have about 75% of my time scheduled. I make phone calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Obviously, I do training for the company and other things. That's all put into my schedule. But everything is set out that it's an appointment with myself. So I also have an accountability coach that I meet every Friday at 10. And so I know I have to report to her my activities. And so everything is set out for me on my schedule. Now, that doesn't mean I don't take vacations and stuff like that, but I just know what I'm going to do and what I plan to do. And when I write it down, then it's a commitment to myself. Because one of the other questions, I don't know if you're going to get to this one or if this is part of it, but how do you keep your schedule? And for me, if I have it scheduled on my calendar that I'm going to do that, I look at it like I'm meeting with a seller or I'm meeting with a buyer or meeting with George.
And how long have you been doing that? Keeping a schedule?
I'm a scheduled girl, so 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, I really have started to perfect it in the last 2 years, I would say.
And then let me comment to that. right?
Okay.
Let me comment to that. We talk about the doubling in business. I've been scheduling for 20 years, but I've really had it for the last 2. Her numbers show it, right? It's as easy as that. She keeps a schedule based on her life and where she's at, but she does it. And that's going to be the difference between, and you'll find between these ladies who are doing high volume and the person who's doing maybe 1, 2, or 3 a year. I got cows, so I have cows. I'm sorry. Cows are next door.
So on a daily basis, I'm a little bit different than her because we have a ranch and we have all sorts of animals. We raise cattle and all that. My daily a lot of times adjusts. I mean, overnight we can have something happen, but I have my core people that I want to reach out to or I want to address.
Well, when do you wake
this.
up?
Well, I wake up at 4. I do still try to work out Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday. I try to get that in because health is very important.
When do you go wake up?
6 o'clock, typically 6 o'clock. And I'm back by 6:45. I do have a grandbaby that I watch a lot of times in the morning, so I kind of have to adjust with that. But I do have my people that I want to reach out. You do have your appointments. If that happens that morning or we're irrigating or something like that, then I just have to adjust and, you schedule for later in the evening or something like that. But I typically, that's my days. I don't, I know what I want to get accomplished, and by 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, I have my check marks on my list. I start the night before, and by the end of the day, I make sure I get through that list, regardless if maybe I can't call at 10 o'clock, maybe I have to call at 6:45.
How long do you, let's forget about like the specific time, but what I'm hearing is you're actually time blocking to make, I'm going to need to follow up on 30 people. How long does that take? Or let's not say 30, like daily.
Well, it daily, in the morning, 2.5, 3 hours. It just depends on conversations, and sometimes I'm long-winded, and I like to really get into people where they, what they're wanting to do, and their time frame, this and that, their family. I take my notes. I'm not good at typing unless I have to write with a pencil, so I do a lot of notes, and that way when I follow back up, you have a connection with them. You can say, oh, how are the kids? Or did you guys get back from vacation? So they know that I spoke with them, because a lot of these people that you contact, they've had other agents contact them too. But if you have some kind of a connection, that really helps you keep the momentum going of you being their client.
So you're building.
Right, you're building relationships.
You say you call for 2 to 2.5 hours a day.
Mhm.
How many days a week do you do that?
Um,
Do you do that every day, 5 days a week? 6 days?
Typically probably 4, to be honest, 5. So a lot of times I like weekends, if I have open, I'll be on the phone, even Sunday afternoon. If I don't have, something going on, I'll make calls Sunday afternoon. But there's sweet spots in the evening. You want people to have their dinner and that, but so like 6:30 to 7:15, that's usually a good time to call, because they've already eaten, because they don't want to talk to you if they're hungry. So they've usually already eaten. So I usually take that time and make calls at that time also.
Can I say something? One thing that I'm sure we're going to get from you guys as well is that they time block. It's a dedicated time block, and they're intentional about it, right? They're going to make those contacts, they're going to make those calls, they're going to follow up, and they're going to work to it. I think that's something that we miss, right? So if you do the math on Susie's calls, I don't know, I didn't ask you this question, but how many hours on Tuesday, Thursday do you make calls for?
Well, my Tuesday, Thursday are updates for current clients.
Oh.
Prospecting clients, it's 2 hours a day for 5 days.
Yeah. So there we are, right? Just between these two ladies weekly.
Not all together.
Right.
Sometimes it's like a 30-minute.
Yeah. Yeah. We're looking at about 15 hours a week just in making contacts, not on going to appointments, not on updating the social media, not on doing any of the kind of B work, I'm going to call it, but actually talking to people and engaging with people about real estate, right? Another common thread that I'm talking about. Christine? Christine's going to say,
I wish I had the schedule they do. I don't at all. I have really no schedule. I really don't. I really don't. I really don't have a schedule. I'll look at I have, files on my desk, I look at those and see who needs it, or if I hear somebody that's, I go to funerals too. I know people. I go to funerals because a lot of people are there, a lot of people we know, and I've got clients, not at the funeral, but they remember me going to their funeral, to their mom's funeral, their dad's funeral, whoever's funeral. But I really don't have like a schedule that I just.
I'm here to pull back the curtain. What time do you get in the office? Does she get there before you sometimes? Yeah. Most of the time.
Well, yeah, no, I do on that, but I don't have.
So she says she doesn't have a schedule, but she has a schedule. What time are you driving from Chowchilla or something?
Well, yeah, usually 8:00. Yeah, I'm usually leaving 8.
Yeah, because I've been there also with Perry. She's in the office already, or not just like trailing, right? With questions about things. She probably made how many phone calls?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, a few, yeah.
What's it for you?
Yeah, maybe it depends, or a text or whatever, yeah. So I have that half hour where when I'm driving in, I'm doing things or looking at stuff or whatever, but I do. I mean, I am in the office every day, but like I said, I'm not like that where they schedule this. I mean, I do, like I said, I reach out to people, I see people because I go to a lot of functions, so I see a lot of people. So they reach out to me realistically.
Yeah.
But, I am in the office every day, Monday through Friday. I try to take, I don't really go out on Sundays, Saturdays either. If it's by appointment kind of, but it's really Monday through Friday. I'm at the office realistically. And and then I'll stay late, 6, 7. Yeah. Yeah. 6 or 7, but.
Not in the office, like I said, on Facebook, if you are. If she is on Facebook, she's looking for somebody to be able to contact. Because I've been in the office with her, and it's really interesting. She's like, "Hey, I heard that this person might be moving. Do you have my number?" Right? Ask me. So then, and she doesn't. And you told me this, right?
Yeah.
She would contact people to get the number, and then what do you tell the person that can sell their house? I heard it in the grapevine.
Yeah, I do say that. I heard the grapevine.
She's already made 5 or 6 contacts to get to that one person. What she didn't understand, or she says, but not just schedule, is she's talked to 5 or 6 people about real estate already, engaging them. So guess what they remember? Oh, Christina real estate. And she called me today. She told me that this house is for sale. It's just what I call it, just look at. They're just look for growth. And it's all day, all the time. If you guys ever want to learn, well, you do it more in the back office, but you go sit in Los Angeles office, right? Sit right there, the desk right there. Listen to it. That's all she do all day. And you don't have a schedule because that's all you do.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
Well, before I tell you what my today's schedule is, I feel like I need to set the stage. For the first 20 years of my business with my sister, we started at 8:00, not 8:05, not 8:02. We were there by 8:00, and we left anywhere between 6:30 and 7 p.m. every single day, 7 days a week for 20 years. That's how it was. Once in a while, I mean, if it was a holiday, it was a big deal that we took that holiday off. But it was very much a business that was ran exactly the same way, a system for everything that you could possibly think of. Our schedule was blocked off, and we knew what we were doing for every hour of every day. Maybe the last couple of hours of the day, it was catch up, but from 8 to 6, we knew what we were doing, when we were going to eat, when we were going to call back potential sellers, call back potential clients, because there was times when the phones would ring so much that the only way we could prospect is by blocking off when we were going to call that potential seller back. We couldn't just pick up the phone and talk to every seller every time they called, because then we wouldn't get anything else done. So everything was very, very regimented. Years 22 through 28 or close to 30, I scaled it back to about 45 hours a week, 45, 50 hours a week. And that was really hard for me to do because we were so used to it. So that was my schedule life for the first 30 years of my career. Now for lack of a better way of saying it, I feel like I've earned the right to come into the office when I have a client that I need to take care of. And I cannot go to the office at 8 o'clock anymore. So if I walk in the office, it's going to be 10 o'clock. Unless there's a meeting or something, there's just something about 8 o'clock I just don't want to have to do ever again. So I come in and I work on what I know I have to do because I have a client, but I don't do prospecting anymore. I don't do pop buys anymore. I don't do those things anymore because we've been doing it for 35 years. So the clients come to us. So when they come to us, I'm there. I think you can attest, I'm there and I'm working on whatever I have to work on. And if I don't have somebody that calls me, I'm perfectly fine being at home, being with my family, being with my mother, doing the things that I didn't do for the first 30 years of my life.
Yeah, a couple things with that that I got from you guys, right? And I think the biggest, again, we're looking for common threads, right? All do business is that, one more time, they're time blocking. They're being intentional, right? And if you notice, the majority of them are talking about sellers, right? How many buyers, I mean, just real quick, percentage wise, do you guys work with compared to sellers? I know you do a little more because of Relo and new homes, but do you guys work 80-20? That's what I thought. 80-20? Yeah. And what about now though? Pretty close though. And what do you think? 50-50?
Yeah, about that. I like buyers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that's interesting though. And I'll give you something from Susie that I know. Is she likes buyers, but how many new home contracts are you going to put in this? Or are you holding 5?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
5 or 6, 5 or 6 of them. That's what we can have that she had signed. So buyers, yeah, but she's found that secret sauce. We have in Los Banos 6 different builders that are building, and she's driving them right through them. Why? Because you don't want to sit there and show them 35 houses, or Kimberly, actually, your story, show them drive for one house real far away and then they end up not buying, right? It's like, hey, let's go sign them up and get on to the next one. Although it's very relational in the conversation that they're having, just know that they're looking at the transaction and how to get on to the next one, right? And that's what they're working towards. And if this was not going to work out, then I'm going to have call somebody else, and I'm going to call somebody else. But again, it's being intentional about it. It's following up. It's just being and scaling it out and not being content with 1 or 2, right? That's huge. And I love what Lydia said at the end, right? It's like, if they call me, they call me. If not, I'm happy where I'm at, right? But she's earned that. I get a lot of new agents coming in, right? Or a lot of folks, man, I've been in the business now for a year. I've been in the business for 2 years. How come people aren't calling me like they call all these other people? Because you have to earn it and you have to be consistent. And it's not overnight, right? It's not overnight. So there's the comment there. So I'm going to skip over a few questions because we kind of cover them anyways. But I want to go over, because we're getting close to lunchtime, right? I want to talk about, this is Ainsley. I want to talk about like individual offerings. And although, like I said, the common threads that you guys should be seeing is make the contacts, okay. Most of them wake up early, right? They take care of their health. You still ride bikes, right? You said bike ride, and even during lunch, you'll go for a bike ride, right? They take care of their health. They time block to make those prospecting calls, to make those follow-up calls, to whatever it is, but they're talking all day to people about real estate. And then on top of that, then they close and they ask for business. So then there's passive ways that they're doing that as well, or not so direct ways that I want to get into right now. And we'll start with Cindy. Uniquely, you mentioned that you did stuff with probate and other things. Can you kind of just explain to everybody what you're doing there, and then we'll move on to the next?
So before I got into real estate, I know I was like 10, but let's just say, don't do the math too badly. I was a paralegal. So I am very familiar with how attorneys' brains work and also CPAs. And so in also the state of California, as you guys know, real property can only pass without going through probate through an estate. And I mean, there's obviously exemptions to that and everything, but for the most part. So I'm pretty passionate because probate sucks. I mean, it's horrible and it's long and it takes out all the equity of everything. So what I do, and this is more of like an after close of escrow or just talking to people, this is where also when I'm making my phone calls and I've pulled up, either I use a CRM or I use the tax record. Mostly they're integrated, but let's just say I'm, pulling up and I've got Diane and I'm going to call Diane. I pull up my CRM for what I talked about Diane last time, and then find out if let's just say I've sold her a home a while back and she hasn't put it in a trust yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now call Diane and say, Diane, when can you go see my attorney? Let's schedule the time together. I'll go with you and schedule the attorney or schedule a Zoom to set up that trust. Here are a few things that you need to think about before that appointment, and then give a little bit of information so that she's able to feel comfortable, like, oh, I don't have to do this alone, because that's usually the biggest obstacle of that, whether it's a CPA on wealth building or generational, passing along generational wealth, trust, all of those different things. I don't want to do it alone. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm scared. It's my first time. So I'm going to take that away. I'm going to say, I'll go with you, or here are some questions to think about that they're going to ask you. Now, I've already set that up with the attorney so that I know what they're going to ask, so I don't look like an idiot. And so that's just one of those things.
Yeah. Can I say something about that? Let me just wrap that in. So that's one way of doing it, right? And I think it's fantastic, very unique. There's other people that put on seminars, like trust seminars. But I think what I'm getting from it, kind of high level, and what we should take is that there's other professionals that are not part of this industry but are attached to it. Why not connect with them and make them your guy or their gal or your professional like you? Because I'm sure that attorney sends you referrals. Yeah.
It's expected. So all of my vendors, I have an expectation of referring back and forth.
Yeah. And
I
it's
set it out at the very beginning of our relationship. If you're going to be my pest guy, I'm going to expect a referral a year from you.
yeah.
And that ups as the time goes on.
And it's symbiotic, right? It becomes one of those things like, and then you're kind of have a 3-prong relationship in a sense that you're building, and you guys are as Jason and the big boss says, then you guys are becoming interdependent, right? That means that you guys are going to be working with each other for a long time. And again, they're very transactional because they're trying to do 2 hours of calling and hitting all these folks. But at the same time, during that transaction or trying to get that transactions, they're building rapport and building an interdependent relationship, which is fantastic. So if you get anything from it, if it doesn't have to be a trust, it could be a CPA, an attorney, whoever it is. Unfortunately, we do a lot of divorce sales. Find a divorce attorney, right? Somebody you could partner with, somebody that you can refer to your friends that might be going into trouble, because that's where a lot of leads are going to be coming from. So let me go to this.
So I've built a relationship with a lot of agents. I answer the phone. I get the job done. You have to keep a cool head. Your people, whoever you're with, if you get all excited and worked up over things, that gets them excited and worked up over things. So it's just a matter of, staying cool. We'll work through this problem. And I have a lot of agents that call me and they say, hey, can you do this, or can you take this person, or that type of thing. But when you keep a level head and people like to work with you, they'll call me. They'll say, hey, I got this coming on the market, and you have any clients? That's why I like working with buyers too. Do you have anybody, you show? And then I'll show it. We'll hurry up and get in an escrow. That happens quite often, but that's kind of what I use.
And that's fantastic advice, right? Build rapport with your other partners. One question for you specifically, though, is about so everybody does something unique or has done something unique. Suzanne, I keep on calling her Susie. I've known her since for 14, well, since she's been in the business. Actually was on a national TV show, right? And that's what we're going to show a little quick on it. And then can you just tell me how you got kind of invited to that? And then did that do anything for your business, right? Did people recognize you afterwards?
Can you watch it first?
Yeah, we're going to watch it first. That's all right. If you just, can you just play it, or is it without the sound?
Yeah, it's having slow feedback issues right now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I'll probably share it with everybody so you want to take a look at it. But what it is a segment on TV, and it, introducing different towns and different aspects of the town. Suzanne actually got invited to participate in it. She'll tell us how, and she, that's her son does drone work. So this is what Doss Palace, because that's where she was born and raised, and generations she's been there, is all about, right? She goes and she interviews the mayor and does a whole bunch of different fun stuff, I guess, which is really cool. There she is with the mayor, in a coffee shop. What's the coffee shop called? The Saloon. It suits it. It's perfect. But my question to you, Susie, is how'd you get invited to that? And then did it make you more recognizable, right? Where? Because I think you were mentioning that.
Yeah. So I kept getting asked. It actually came through Fresno, and they were looking for agents, and they kept emailing. I've done a few things, short little things on television, but anyway, they kept reaching out. So I go, what the heck, I'll go for it. And I was talking to Amy, and he goes, I think it'd be pretty cool. I said, anyway, they called me. They set up a time. I didn't practice. I just shot it. I told the mayor, she was a friend of mine. I said, we're just going to do this and talk, because she and I can talk forever. And then I had my son that has a wealth of knowledge in farming. He has a PCA license. And so he's done a lot of professional talking and that type of also. So I grabbed two people that I knew could fill the gap. I asked a few questions. It was pouring down rain. My hair is hanging, jacket, but they loved the segment, the people that were doing this. This is a national, it has to do with real estate, but they wanted to give a feedback of what, what's out there, who's out there, but it helps promote us too, because you bring in, like the mayor, she kept bringing in me as a real estate agent. So you're getting plugs all the time. But yeah, I had people call me. I had my relatives in Lemoore and Hanford. They said, we were watching this program and there you are. And, it just kind of, and it was great to send out to people. And so then my family and it just kept going. So it did help promote. But, it was a fun thing to do.
Yeah, very unique, right? I mean, how many of us, especially some top talents, get the opportunity to be on TV and do it that way, right? So again, just something unique she's done, or she does has done in her business that can make you stand out, outside of it. So then with Christine, this can be more of a dialect with Christine. So I'm going to hand you the thing. So Zoom, if you guys lose me a little, just count on her. Just work through her answers.
Yeah, what do you want me to Okay. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, good.
If you guys notice through her answering the questions, right? She does everything. Serving in every board, going to support dinners, she's from the community, funerals. I mean, there's nothing she's not involved with. She takes off almost the whole week during her sick time there in Los Angeles. She takes the whole day there, right? She's doing the auction, she's doing this, she's doing that. That's all intentional stuff she does all the time. But there's certain kind of what I call evergreen, right? Or that's the same, I guess. But it's something that you do every year, right? It's regardless of what's going on, she sets up her, sorry, client appreciation party, and that happens. And then you also do
Christmas boxes.
your boxes, your almond boxes, right?
Yeah,
So I think that we can start with, how many people do you deliver to
150.
every year?
Yeah, 150. Over 150. Yeah.
How do you choose, how many you actually have that close? How many customers?
Well, that's just clients, either past clients or clients that I know. So it's about 150 boxes.
How many have you prepared for
Mine is over 1,200.
12 months?
Yeah.
So then you take about 10% of that.
Yeah.
every visit?
Yeah.
Every year.
Mhm.
Okay. And then how many days if you drop off 100? By the way, she drops them off. She doesn't mail them. She drops them off at the doorstep.
I do certain, well, I do like a couple hours here or this section of town, and I go to that section of town. So it's, I do it like in certain areas, like it's, but it's going to be a couple weeks probably, because by the time I go deliver and then drop them off, or yeah.
So are you having conversations?
Yeah, I do. I usually, like I said, sitting there for a while, have coffee with them or whatever. Yeah. So I try, I usually depends on the client. So I know older clients are up earlier in the morning, but later in the afternoon, it might be someone else. That's it. Yeah.
So then,
Or at
so then
school,
break
they're
it
at
down a
school.
couple-
Yeah.
That's 50 per person. Connected. Building a business, right? Again, she's already transacted with these folks, but she's consistently or she's repeatedly eating their hand, right? Whether at an event, whether that's on a board, whether that's she's serving at the first time fair, or she's at the doorstep dropping off. So again, it's one of those unique items that I think Susie does something similar during Christmas. I don't know what scale, but I know you've been doing it. How many years have you been doing that?
They start out $5 a box. So I think it's maybe 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I mean, like my client appreciation was 110 people this past year, but I've even started out my very first like couple years. I only had maybe like 5 people, and we just did like, no, I mean, just have like a client appreciation party. I had maybe my first couple years, maybe 10 people were there, and it was just like at the hotel here that had a swimming pool that's covered, but so it doesn't have to be like this big grand thing. I serve for tacos and cookies, and
Right.
it's something spectacular,
Yeah. No, yeah, so she moved
and
on to
prizes.
the
Yeah.
second event. The first one, the dropping off door to door, and then she also invites her clients.
Yeah. Yeah, the client appreciation party.
She had a client appreciation
Yeah.
party. She actually lives in her house.
And I use the gifts, so I got a lot of fundraisers, so I just buy those gifts and I used it for my client appreciation party.
Yeah.
They were all, so they were nice ones,
Yeah, you're supporting the community. So, yeah, again, when people talk about like, and I'll get it in after this. We should be back. Oh, for that, we're not gonna do it here. Wait, can you guys hear me?
Oh.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it here. I'm okay with them not hearing me. Wow. Oh, that's why I said that they should be listening. Christine's off, because again, so with Christine's events, right, it's like, and something that I'm just gonna kind of bring into back to the fold, I guess. Where's the thread, right? It's she's talking to, whether she's calling them, whether she's at the door, dropping off gifts, whether she's calling them to invite them, and then in person, right? How many people do you actually invite?
This year, because it's my 25th, I invited like, it was like 500 invitations went out.
Yeah.
I mean, we wrote them all out. Sean and I wrote them out. Yeah, we wrote out. So I got 110.
And how many people did you text afterwards?
Well, I didn't do that. That's why I had some, I only did a few. Yeah, that's why they forgot or whatever.
Yeah.
So it probably been close to 150, but yeah.
So 400 invitations sent.
Yeah.
110 showed up, and 40 people that RCP that she text, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I think that's another item. If you're gonna do, let's say, I'm gonna go on Fridays. I'm gonna go join Friday, and I'm gonna do that once a month. Are you ever gonna get to this? You'll get something eventually, but it has to be consistent. It has to be all the time. It has to be everything, right? If you want to be able to show your business. Thank you. Taking some, but she's taking some ideas, like mailing and all that. It actually is so
Happy birthday to today's your special day and I wanted
Really
to
cute.
celebrate you.
Yeah, and we'll- if you can, we'll probably share it off the piece of it. If you get it, you can hear it online. Oh, you can hear it online. Maybe you can just do it live for us.
Right, no, what I decided to do is a video greeting. Oh, what I decided to do was a video birthday greeting that I could do all year long. And with this, it was 18 seconds. I sang happy birthday. I said a few words. I had visuals. It was very colorful. And I sent it to every single person that popped up on my It's Their Birthday, as far as clients. And then on Facebook, it's so easy. You know, you get the little reminder, oh, today is so-and-so's birthday, get into Messenger, send it. And the response was really overwhelming. Most people thought I created it just for them, and they loved it. And it was so well received. And some clients have even talked about it to this day, like, oh, I'm waiting for my new video for my birthday, etc. So it was 20 seconds, very easy to do, creative, and they felt it was personal. Everybody, because it's free. Everybody that I knew was having a birthday got it. Yeah, that is true. Traditional. I don't do traditional calling expireds anymore. I phased out of that.
How did that?
Well, the reason I came up with the idea of sending our the Christmas video was because it was getting close to Christmas and I hadn't sent out any cards. And I thought it just got away from me. And I thought, wow, I cannot believe I'm not going to send cards this year. So then I thought, well, I'll do a video. And I did a video. I went to one of the real nice boutiques in town that had a great background. There it is. There's the background. And I basically just gave them the Christmas card in a video form. And I said something to the effect of, instead of sending out traditional Christmas cards, I wanted to send this special message from me to you. I want to wish you XYZ, XYZ. And I started texting once I was decided, okay, I did it. And I started texting all my clients first. By the time I started at A, and friends, started at A, and by the time I ended at Z, I had, I think, 220 people had responded to it and said, oh my God, this is so cute. Thank you. It made an impact. Then I went to Facebook and I went through all my friends and I sent it to them. And I got a couple more hundred. Individually. I didn't want to post it on Facebook. I wanted to get to everybody first. After I got to everybody a few days later, then I posted it so everybody else could see it. But the point was, I've sent out Christmas cards for 35 years, 34 years, because this was the 35th. And we get maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 people that'll send a reply. Thank you for your, that's about it. I had instantly 400 plus replies, and I was blown away. And that was the other thing. I mean, when you think about the cost of the Christmas cards and then the postage and the person that's going to sit there and write things out, it's a lot of time and it's a lot of effort. And this was free. It was 20 seconds. I had to do it a couple times to get it right, but it was overwhelmingly successful. People responded to it because it felt personal. I'm talking to them directly, and it was something that was different. And I wish I could have captured the amounts so that I could show you how many hundreds and hundreds of reply. I haven't had that many replies, I think, in the full 35 years we've been doing real estate. that I got in one thing.
Sorry, Zoom. Okay. Again, just because Lydia says she doesn't prospect, obviously she does, just in a different format, right? Less about finding new clients because she's done that. She did that for 30 plus or 20, what was it, 20 years? Like prospecting, 28? Okay, 25 years of prospecting to build that database, to be able to sit back and film something for 20 seconds, send that out, and then people reciprocate from it or respond to it. What I love about that is that she had a task that was set, kind of like Christine, kind of like you all do. I'm going to do something, send out the postcards. Oh man, I didn't get to do it this year, but I'm still going to figure out a way to do it, right? She still did her job. And that's another comment that if you notice, they all go to an office, they all make the contacts, they all time block. How many of them have said, go to TikTok, or I'm going to go start an Instagram? They might have it, but that's B to them, right? It's this. She hires somebody because they know that's a safety net, as I call it. Our job is to walk that tight line, or the tightrope. We're always going to have that safety net here, right? But walk the tightrope means make the calls, make the contacts, drop off the things, volunteer, get in front belly to belly. And then at the same time, we have so many systems now that could automate that for us through Berkshire Hathaway. Let that do that for you, because eventually that's going to come in. That'll come in, right? But for those of us that have that question of like, how do we get clients? There's a whole lot. And if you haven't like figured out, well, would that work for me? Maybe they talk to them. They have something different. Now, there's another video that we're going to send out. And we talked about this, Lydia, when 6-7 weeks ago or something.
Yeah. I'll just
Yeah.
It was an idea that I had in my mind, basically, because I'm always looking now. My mind,
What is something I could do video wise? What can I do that's video wise that's going to stand out? I'm always looking for that thing that's going to stand out. And I had a very unique situation. My son has special needs. He has autism. He's an adult now. But when he was in high school, he had an amazing high school experience because of a particular class called Pura Vida, that half of the class were neurotypical and the other half had autism, and they would do social things together. They'd have movie nights. They would do, they'd have lunch together every single day, et cetera, et cetera. Well, there was a boyfriend, girlfriend, young couple that were just the sweetest people that were with my son pretty much the 4 years, and included him on senior sunrise, senior sunset, senior trips, the prom, the dances, everything. He was part of all the kids. He had every student's experience. He had it because of these kids, right? So fast forward, they were ready to buy a property, and they wanted to buy their dream property, actually. And I was sharing it with you, saying, God, these kids are so special to me because they changed my life. They changed my son's life. I get emotional thinking about it. They made a difference. And now I'm going to be their realtor, and I want to make a difference for them. And so he had the idea of, well, why don't we make a video about it? And so, because Cindy had what was the name of that person you had a class and you had her come, Bridget Baldwin showed some examples of videos that she had done with voiceover, trying to make things personal. And so we worked on it and we created this video, and I can't really explain it. You have to see it. I had pictures of them in high school. And then I surprised my son. I didn't tell him that I was working with them. So I had him standing at the house when the clients were ready to do their final walkthrough. And the reactions were priceless. And that's all caught on video. And then some photos of the property as well. So we tied it all in. I did the voiceover. For me, it's magic because I lived it. The response has been very overwhelming as well. So I hope you guys get to see it. And it's probably one of the things I'm most proud of, because you did? Yeah, I got to give back. And I don't think they knew what they had done for our family. And that's what I tried to put together in the video. And hopefully you guys will get it. It was a good video, very good video.
Thank you. So yeah, no, it's a beautiful video. When she talked to me about when she was telling me the story and who she was working with, and she just was so passionate about it. I mean, this is life changing, as she said. That really tells a story of what a real estate agent should be doing, right? We should be changing. Yeah, we get paid on commissions. Yeah, we're definitely salespeople, but we're changing lives, right? We're building generational wealth. We're the trajectory of people's lives. Whether, I mean, I've had people or young families tell me that they're pregnant before their parents, right? Because I'm helping them buy their first house. I mean, that's the importance we play, and that's our role. That should define us as people when we're serving customers or building or those friendships, because that's what it is, long-term friendships, right? It's like you start, they help you, and now you help them. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I will definitely send that out. So you guys can take it. We'll send out all of it so you guys can know. There it is. Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's still here.
It loves you.
Yeah, it wants me to feed it, I think. Sorry. For the Zoom, it's a fly. So yeah, so I was gonna get into, like, it's a little bit later, but I was gonna get into okay, hey, tell me what you talk to people about when you're calling them, right? Tell me, for example, when you go on a listing, like, what does that look like for you? So instead of me talking about it, so we get some lunch and go swimming, when out there, please ask those questions, unpack what we've talked about. But we're going to close it out. We're going to round it out, right? With kind of like a retrospective question. Sorry, I got to mark this down. Okay. So then, if you were going to start your guys' career all over again, what would you do different? And what would you keep the same? And let's see if we get one or two things that we would do, right? Because obviously we'd do a lot of different things, but just one or two things that as takeaways.
I would not start over. I don't think I would start over.
Yeah.
It's work. I'm older now, and it's work. So looking back at my younger self, I wish I would have learned to be with the time blocking, the consistency. For me, I mean, I know that everybody works a little bit differently. I rely a lot on systems. I rely a lot on my calendar. I rely a lot on the tools that the brokerage provides to me, a lot, the CRM and stuff. So I wish I would have learned how to master those and incorporate them into how I do business, which is similar to everyone here. I mean, belly to belly, how to come up with those systems a lot sooner and get that system down and then move it forward and tweak it as I go. Because at the beginning, it was fly by night. I mean, I was stuck at 20 transactions, I was just stuck. That's the only way to say it. Because I wanted to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And yeah, I was consistent in not being consistent. But once I started putting all the pieces together and layering them together and saying, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to hire someone to do that, or here's how I'm going to work. I carry this is my binder. I carry this around everywhere I go. And I write everything down. So if I have a conversation with Diane today, I'm going to write down, Diane, what did I learn and what do I need to do? And at the end of the day, it's my list to do, but who's going to update my CRM? That is somebody else. I'm not going to do that. I tear that off. I give it to somebody else to do. So I guess I wish I would have learned what was most important for me. And Gretchen calls it highest and best use. My highest and best use is is not sitting in front of a computer inputting. I talked to Diane and this is what you learned and this is what you need to do. Here, how's that? And so learning those things, what am I needing to do? I need to be the ones having the conversation. I need to be the one belly to belly. I need to be the one making those presentations, making those phone calls, hire out others to help do the other parts, the CRM, my social media, I hire out to pick up lock boxes. I hire out to do those types of things. And I say hire out, sometimes it's trade, but just figuring out what system works, what part I play, and leaning into that and letting the other parts support that.
Yeah, that's great advice. Well, when I started out, it was really a difficult time with in the office. We had it was Prudential, switching over to Brookshire. We had a death in the office. Our secretary, she had a death. So it was kind of a real difficult time. And I was on the struggle bus, and because that's not my character to sit there. I'm not a crier. I didn't sit there, but I would have been a crier or a drinker or whatever. But Nancy Busio actually, she helped me tremendously, and I even used her car arms. The Metro, I wasn't on anything. I used her forms to do my first transaction, and it started like that. But I'm sitting there for like 3 hours, like, what the? Well, I won't say a bad word, but I was like, what the heck am I supposed to be doing here? But anyway, Nancy helped me tremendously, and then a little bit later, George reached out to me, and we kind of teamed up, and I shadowed him. And I suggest that with any new agent, if you can shadow with another agent, and he just had a wealth of knowledge, and I was like, oh, I don't know any of this. We'd go to listing appointments and that type of thing. So I kind of chummed around with him for a while, and pretty soon he had me going appointments by myself. But that really helped tremendously how to learn the business, because I don't think there's any book out there that will tell you, and every client's different. But George really helped me in the beginning as we got going. So, but I would want to start over again for sure. But anyway, here's the things.
Probably just getting things done. Like we said, writing it down better. Like I said, I didn't follow up as good either. I feel like I don't follow up as good very, very well on new buyers, especially. So following that probably would be my advice, is to follow up better when I first started. When I would have changed on that, but I was able, like I said, my kids were small, kindergarten, second grade, fifth grade. So I was actually able to do all this stuff. So I was really happy with that. It was a good job for me to go pick up the kids, go to every, I went to all their events. I really didn't miss a lot of their stuff at all. I put kind of them first, So.
I gave this a lot of thought. And if there was something that I knew then that I know now and that I would want to share with all of you, is that sometimes it's okay to walk away when that client is not the right fit. When we first started our business, we took it all, and with a smile. We took the open houses nobody else wanted. We took the listings that nobody wanted, and they would refer it to us. We took the buyer. We did all of that, and it served its purpose. And I wouldn't have changed that for the world. But a lot of times I think now I put myself in a situation where I should have fired that client, whether it was a buyer, whether it's a seller. And I think we can all agree, the very first time I actually walked out on a listing, the seller, husband and wife, were there. Seller was very belligerent, borderline violence, and I was in the corner of the room and he was in the doorway, and I'm thinking, how do I get out? So I made up an excuse to go to my car, but as I got to the front door, I turned around and I said, I think we're not a good fit, and I think you need to find someone that's going to better suit your needs. And I was shaking. I shut the door, and you could hear him screaming. I went into my car, and I was shaking, and I thought, oh my God, what is my sister going to say? I just lost a listing. I just walked away, gave it back to them. And she was like, good for you. And I thought, you know what? You're right. We don't have to be subjected to the things that we know in our heart do not align with our values. And when you're first starting out, it's hard to let that go. Oh my God, I've been working with this tire kicker for 6 months. If I fire them now, I would have wasted all this time. So let me waste another 6 months to get a deal so I can justify all the hours upon hours. And sometimes it's okay to walk away or to refer them out, and give yourself permission to do that.
Awesome. So yeah, so bottom line, I guess, for those of us that are here to learn something, right? If you're newer, like Cindy said, find a system and follow it. Easy as that. Get a system, and we have systems. We have workflows. Cindy teaches class on this. So if you're wondering how does that work, go to one of her classes. Ask her. Say, hey, can you send me a follow-up system? Can you send me a daily schedule? What does a routine look like? right? Diane teaches on this. Where's Diane? Oh, there you are. Diane teaches on this. She loves working with new agents, right, Diane? Love it. She has a class that's 6 weeks of like step by step. This is what to do, right? So there's opportunity out there for you to do it. But will you take advantage of it? I don't know. You know, we could teach it, but we can't make you do it.
But that goes to, sorry, get a coach,
That's
get a
what- that's-
mentor,
that's-
okay,
yeah.
get
Right.
somebody to hold you accountable. And, you know,
So that's exactly right, right? That's like Suzanne said, right? What do? Right? Find somebody you could shadow, get a coach. You know, if you have the capability or the ability, I would, I mean, I had my top years closing deals, and when the market was at the lowest with no REOs, 2008, 2009, I was closing 80 deals a year. And if you guys know the REO market, unless you were in the REO business, you weren't doing anything. But one month I listed 30 properties, right? And I did that from the instruction of a coach, right? Somebody that I paid. Well, I first door knocked 4 hours a day, every single day, because that's all I could do. Then I made enough money to pay for a coach. So I entered the Mike Ferry coaching. I did that for 3 years, and I made the most money I've ever made at the downest market, right? But I paid for that because I knew I needed it, because I didn't know what to do. But yeah, you find somebody, or, you know, partner with somebody. With Christine, right? Follow-up systems. If she had a follow-up system, or Sean, you know, that reminds her about her clients. He was too young back then. Then there'd probably be more closings. So she'd be like 1,400 to 2,000, right? That's really what it would be. So for me, it becomes one of those things. If you do have somebody that you need to follow up on, right? That's what it comes down to. Follow up harder. I was told one time, right? You lose more clients for not following up than you do for following up. Okay. My coach said you call them until they're dead, or they tell you to pound sand, and that's it, right? And every time I'd meet with them, did you call them? You know, I don't want the rejection. Well, guess what? You're gonna get it. Put them in a three-way, and we'd call them right then and there. Call them till they're dead, or tell you to pound sand. You just want the answer, yes or no. We're gonna do business, and that's it, right? And then I love it. I love the idea of being able to fire clients. I mean, because again, it becomes one of those items. We get so starved sometimes. We feel like we need to be in those toxic, bad relationships, and we don't. You know what solves that? Closing 300 transactions a year. So I lose a listing. So what? I got another 299 I'm closing, right? And how do you get there? By following a system, hiring a coach to hold you accountable to the system, and then following up on the leads that you're getting, right? And that's really life cycle of not only here as a, you know, what's the ideal look for a real estate agent? Somebody who has doubled their business, somebody who's been able to kill it, sustain it, and then now somebody who's leveraging it. She's leveraging her, now it's time, because time is more valuable than the money, right? Although you could say that because you have it.
yeah, I should say she's got it. So.
Right? So ladies and gentlemen, that is the blueprint for success. Hopefully you've learned a lot. If you didn't learn enough, we're going to walk right over. I'm going to start tacos. Should be about 10-15 minutes. There's some drinks. There's going to be a lot of salads and stuff like that. If you did happen to bring something that's there, please just walk it over. But if you can, let's give them a round of applause.